are tracking a political story out of Chicago at this hour. A Democrat who supports strong Second Amendment rights is trying to win a special election to fill the seat vacated by Jesse Jackson Jr. This is right in President Obama's hometown backyard, south side of Chicago. But we are now hearing reports that she's facing strong opposition from some very powerful members of her own party for being a pro-gun lawmaker. Joining me now is former Congresswoman Debbie Halvorson, who would like to become the Congresswoman from Chicago again. Congresswoman, thank you so much for being here.
Hi, Megan. Thanks for having me.
So what we're told is that folks like David Axelrod, Ben LaBolt, who was the spokesperson for President Obama's campaign, Jan Schakowsky, who supported you in your other two congressional runs, all turning against you because of your stance on the Second Amendment. And it's not like you are pro-gun on every issue. You want stronger background checks and so on, but you're not completely in line with their policies. And boy, have they turned on you. Your thoughts on it?
Well, and it's not just them. I think what started it is billionaire mayor from New York coming in with $1.3 million in ads over the last couple of weeks. And I think it's not fair that, you know, a mayor from New York coming in to buy a house race. And he has, you know, thought that he and everybody else could just come in and say what they want. But it's about the district. It's about what we need to do. And just because I want to have some common sense about the culture of violence and talk about what we really need to do about getting the guns out of the hands of criminals, everybody has decided to gang up on me. Now, there are 16 people in this race, this special election, and since I'm the front runner, I am the one that is the one with the proven record, the one that's created jobs, the one that's been in Congress before. But I'm the only one that can't be controlled. I'm the one that's not a rubber stamp.
Yeah.
Everybody's afraid.
Certainly not on the gun control issue. You're not a rubber stamp. And your critics,
Correct.
you know, we've already heard this. They point to Chicago and they talk about the horrific gun violence in that city. In 2012 alone, 500 gun-related deaths. And they think that the president's gun control measures are the answer to that. I know you see it a different way.
I do. Think about this. The state of Illinois has cut $187 million out of their mental health budget. The city of Chicago closed half of their mental health facilities. Cook County has had an assault weapons ban since 1993, but yet they've got the highest murder rate in the country. There's something wrong with this picture. We need to be creating jobs. We need to be doing things to help our young people stay in school. I want to put vocational education back in the high schools. But again, it's about talking about the culture of violence. Nobody wants to talk about that. You know, I still agree with having background checks and to update our national database to have a much more clear way of talking about how to get the guns out of the hands of criminals. But nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to talk about how do we let law enforcement do their job? How do we get rid of the gangs? But since I want to talk about the common sense gun control measures, nobody wants to do that.
Yeah, they're against you. I know that you do oppose a ban on assault weapons and extended magazine clips, and this is one of the reasons why David Axelrod sent out a tweet saying your strong standing in the district is ironic in his view, given, quote, the carnage in the district. I mean, do you think that there is any link? I mean, I used to live in Chicago, and a lot of the, you know, most of the gun violence that happens there is by, you know, criminals, by gang members who are shooting each other. There's a real question, Congresswoman, as you know, about whether they would abide by these laws even if we passed them.
That's exactly true. And that's why the hypocrisy of it all, that they think that if we just pass one more law and just slap our name on something, that all of a sudden everything is going to go away. And I have talked to so many people out there that are just so angry at just one mayor who thinks that he can come in with these ads. There are now 3 super PACs that have thought that they could come in to just get rid of me because they don't want to talk about common sense. And
because of this issue, because you've gone to Congress twice before for this district. It's not like they didn't like you before, but suddenly, now that this is in the news, this is a deal breaker for them.
Yes. It is, and it's a shame, but the nice thing about it, people know me. They know what I'm about, and they know that I want to talk about the real issue, which is education and creating jobs. And they're just they're continuing to push this issue, which they're getting upset about because it's not working. Every time they do another poll, I'm still in the lead. And I don't think they know what to do with me, since I just continue to talk about what's really important to the district.
Well, you raised some interesting points about, pushing more vocational education for these kids who so often get off on the wrong track on the south side of Chicago and cannot be, brought back, and trying to intervene early in that path. Listen, it's great to have you on. I know it's an open primary, so that ought to make things interesting for you, but we'll continue to follow it.
Right. Thank you, Megan.
Thank you, ma'am.